come in after a 3 a.m. flight. But you'll see why we're starting with that subject as we turn to Diana Nyad. Just imagine for a moment any of our top athletes becoming sports broadcasters, Sue Barker, Gary Lineker, Denise Lewis, and then having retired from the sport for 30 years, in a 7th decade, that athlete starts to make a fresh attempt on the most difficult feat of all, the one that they didn't manage in their prime. And then imagine that they did it, age 64. This is exactly what happened with Diana Nyad, a world champion long-distance swimmer in her 20s. She first attempted to swim from Cuba to Florida in 1978, tried twice again in 2011, then in 2012, and in 2013, 5th attempt, you did it. And we're talking about how many miles?
111 miles.
111 miles, and this takes how long in the water?
53 hours.
And you are the first person, I think, to do it without a shark cage around you. All fins.
No fins.
No fins. No. Just your feet. Just your.
Well, you know, if you use fins, you're a fish. You're a different animal. So that's not allowed.
But Diana's book, Find a Way, also suggests that a anti-jellyfish cage would have been handy too. You had some horrible times with jellyfish, and these are not just our little pathetic British jellyfish. These are serious, aren't they?
This is the most potent venom on Earth. The box jellyfish, 90% of the people who have ever had a tentacle touch their skin die instantaneously. There's no snake, no eel that can kill that efficiently as the box jellyfish. Honestly, I'd rather face a shark. Close up, a large oceanic white-tip lemon tiger shark right close up and have a chance to take your fist and punch it than be touched by the tentacle of the box jellyfish.
So you had you had this special kind of mask made, which looks disgusting to swim in, I have to say. It looks horrible.
It was tough, but I never would have gone back. There was a 5th attempt, over 35 years, and I never would have gone back a 5th time. But if I could address the stamina issue, because, everybody tells their vocabulary. We're speaking of the vocabulary of music, or of optimism, or of acting. My vocabulary sounds like that of an athlete, an endurance athlete, but the truth is, it's about what you're talking about, and life. It's about recognizing that we're all, no matter what your religious beliefs are, we're on a one-way street. You'd never get to do this day over again. And why not do it to the nth degree, whether you're helping people, you're pursuing your own potential? So my trip across those 53 hours and that epic ocean wasn't to break some record. Those thousands of people standing on the beach, they were weeping when I finished, not crying. They were weeping. And you know why? They saw an individual in a team who refused to give up. And that was the heart of it. It wasn't the sporting moment of it. It was the life moment of it.
I have watched videos, though, of the times that you had to give up, and it's absolutely horrible. I mean, you have a kind of asthma attack almost at one stage where the doctor has to get in the water and pass across an inhaler thing, and you have... There was one where you say your body actually couldn't take it any longer. Your body was kind of failing on you completely. I mean, if you've done that and then you go back again.
No, not really. Not really. It was and the 4 failures, and it's hard to use that word because the journey is just as thrilling and as edifying as reaching the other shore. Although I will be shallow and say reaching the destination was awfully sweet also. But
there's a brilliant moment when they show you the lights of the Florida Keys.
Yeah, that was emotional.
If it's possible to cry through a jellyfish mask, I think you probably would have.
I did cry, and actually I gave a little speech, a little oration out there to my team. It looks like the most solitary endeavor in the world. If you were to take a helicopter shot of all 53 hours, there's only one swimmer. There's only one pair of arms that go left arm, right arm. But that trainer of mine, Bonnie, my soul, that navigator, very tricky navigation, the most difficult swim in the world. It's the Mount Everest of the world's oceans. The great swimmers have been trying since 1950. That team never ever. I cried 2 hours from the end and said to them, I guess I'm going to stumble up on that shore pretty soon. Someone's going to take my picture. But don't you ever forget.
Yeah. It's the team.
We did it. We made history together, and that will always be the case.
And, of course, the other presence there is, among others, Bob Dylan, because I think as we have a musician at the table, I should mention in your book you tell that one of the ways you keep your stroke steady is by having the songs go through your head. So you're doing Don't Think Twice, It's All Right.
Very good.
Go away from my window.
Very good. If I take a song like Bob Dylan's Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, and I sing it 1,000 times, exactly the way he sang it. I don't have headphones. I'm just listening to that gravelly voice, go away from my window, with the cadence. When I finish 1,000 Bob Dylans, I am at 9 hours and 45 minutes to the breath, exactly. So people ask me, do you ever meditate? I said, you go swim for 53 hours and take a breath underwater. You'll be meditating. Believe me.
I'm not sure that flamenco rhythms would be very good for a swimmer.
It might be a bit off-putting.
No.
But it's wonderful to hear that music actually helped in this amazing endeavor.
Yeah, yes.
Really,
I have a friend who's climbed Mount Everest more than anybody alive, the pure way without oxygen, Ed Vistiers. And I said, Ed, do you sing to get yourself through step after step? He said, yeah. I said, what are your songs? He said, I only have one. I said, one? To get you through all those days and hours? I have a playlist of 85. And so what he sings, and I said, Ed, it's such a cliche. He sings, oh, the bear went over the mountain. I said, that's what you sing for days at a time? He said, yep, that's my only song. I said, boy, I couldn't make it with that one alone. No.
Let's just sketching how you came to this, because you tell the story of your upbringing in the book, and not an easy upbringing. I mean, you were assaulted by your stepfather, which is horrible, and by your coach. So it's people both now dead and so on, and that does place a mark on a kid, doesn't it? It does sometimes make people want to achieve, want to prove themselves in other ways. Do you think that has anything to do with your sports career?
I hate to say that, because then, first of all, let's put this in context. Compared to Lorraine, who we're about to hear from, I've had a privileged, joyous life. So all of us, I mean, did you ever meet a 90-year-old who said, it's just all a bowl of cherries? Never had a problem my whole life. So we all have heartache, and we all have even sometimes worse, and grief. And so, yes, I was molested, raped by my coach, and that was my cross to bear, and I've become a strong, confident, happy, together person. But I hate to say, it was because of that. Isn't it a great thing?
That would be suggesting that they were crediting.
Yeah. I don't want to give any credit there. Like when you talk to parents, I'm not a parent, but when you talk to parents, they say, you see my son there, the 35-year-old? He was just like that when he was 2 years old, and his little, he was willful, he was this and this. So I believe that I had that drive and that wanting to live every life to its nth degree, way before all that molestation started. No credit there.
There was a lovely moment in an old interview. You said, I was always after difficult things. I always wanted difficult things. But when you stopped, though, the swimming professionally and became a sports broadcaster, very well known, did you think you'd ever go back to that particularly difficult, really tough?
Never.
So what was the moment?
I was turning 60. My mom just died. She was 82. And so you sort of see the end of that road for the first time. I don't think 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds would feel that we do. Perhaps that it really is going to end one day. And boy, you blink and 10 years go by. And so I was faced with that. I became friends with Christopher Reeve, who is now a quadriplegic after falling from his horse, and he was very big on regrets. He would say to me, Diana, don't ever leave for tomorrow what you might be able to today. You don't know what proverbial banana peel you might slip on one day. And I started hunting through my office for a poem I had read once. I'm not good with poetry. Whenever I read a poem, when I finish it, I say, why don't they just say it? Why don't they use some more words? Maybe I'd understand it then. I don't get poetry. But Mary Oliver wrote a poem called The Summer's Day. And the last two lines of that poem, when I was turning 60, I read it 1,000 times. All day long, I had it walking the dogs, eating breakfast.
Give us the last
two lines. Tell me, what is it you're doing with this one wild and precious life of yours? And I read that and thought, I'm going to go back and chase my dream that was the untouchable star swimming from Cuba to Florida.
There's another great line that apparently a blow-up poster on the back of your door when you were just a child. A diamond is a lump of coal that's stuck with it.
Well, that comes full circle to our stamina. There's nothing I admire more. People have talent, and it's wonderful to see. And, people have good luck, and it's wonderful that they're blessed with that. Me, what I admire is people who don't give up. They just press, and one day they get to their other shore, whatever that might be.
And yours was the lights of Florida. It's that moment, it's the thought of the moment when you saw those lights that I just found.
It was metaphoric. Although when Bonnie said to me, Look up, what do you see? I said, your vision is so shot at that point. I said, I don't see anything. I see, it was the dead of night. I see black sky, black sea, it's all black. She said, no, there's something, look. And I said, the sun's coming up. You always have hope when you see the sun, and I'll be able to take all the jellyfish gear off.
2 nights at sea.
It was burdensome, 2 nights at sea, and she said, no, it's better than the sun. I said, better than the sun? Nothing's better than the sun. She said, no, those are the lights of Florida.
Wow. It's not poems.
It is. It's all poetic, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's go to the other kind of determination, which as you've just mentioned, Pastor Lorraine Jones of Angeltown in Brixton has shown. Her social enterprise Dwynamics has won one of President Obama's Point of Light